it wouldn't be surprising if there was like leftist violence or something that started happening at some point. I feel like we're there. We're past that.
Oh yeah, sure.
How do they? It is crazy how invulnerable they are. Did he though?
They should sue him. They should sue him.
Oh, like the Alex Jones stuff.
Because of people like Hasan that did idealize that. They're like, oh, this guy's a hero. Yeah, free him. Free Luigi. He's so great. And then there's like surprised Pikachu face when more people start coming out and just shooting random other. Yeah. Wow. So where the were you? I was here last Wednesday and there was no one here. I was here for 3 hours.
Just waiting for me to
I was
show
here
up?
and I was like, I was texting you and you weren't responding for the whole time. It was very awkward for me.
No, I was just sending him pictures of Abe Lincoln. I went to DC on a field trip with my kiddo and his classmates for like 5 or 6 days or something.
Okay.
Then I went to Tampa for 2 days to do some guy hosts like a debate league for high schoolers, and I said I would do a debate with them for the first thing, and I'd come in the second day to judge, and then I came back here.
So how was the whole debate stuff? I never did debate thing. I mean, I didn't really go to high school. I guess I did for 9th grade, I think. No, I did it's a long story. I'd have to it was like.
How long of a story can it be for if you did high school debate or not?
I dropped out of high school, right?
Okay.
But I also was sent to a therapeutic boarding school, which was like quasi-classified as a high school, even though it wasn't when I was younger.
A therapeutic boarding school.
It's a long story.
Wait, have you ever told me this before?
Well, it's on my whole lore stream, but yeah, it's...
Therapeutic boarding school.
Yeah, I was a wild child. I was very, when I was younger, I was very smart. So the problem, well, I still am very smart, mind you. But when I was even smarter for my age back then. And the problem was I was causing a lot of problems. I had ADHD when I was younger, like a very serious case. And this is kind of before they really knew what ADHD was in schools. Like I think they had come out, but schools didn't really know what it was, or they're,
Yeah, I remember hearing all this. Yeah, I didn't know you went to like a whole special school though.
So, but I was a disaster, right? And so basically, I think from the time that I was 14 to 16, like I was so bad that my parents were like, they took me out of school and they're like, all right, we'll homeschool you. But back then there was no, I mean, it sounds like still today, there was no regulations whatsoever on homeschooling at all, nothing. So they're just like, just do whatever the you want all day. I was doing it because I always got straight A's in school. It was just in behavior. I had F's and I kept getting in trouble and kicked off the school bus and kicked out of classes and stuff. But
you're getting kicked out of
what?
Off of like school buses. So were you like fighting with people?
Yeah, fighting with people. I was mooning cars as they drove by.
Okay.
Like I was throwing stuff at the bus driver. I don't know. I was like a piece of nightmare kid.
Okay.
So eventually, like they tried to have me be like, I'm going to do my own thing, kind of learn, because the internet came out and I was like, I kept myself busy. And they tried that from 14 to 16, but I just was getting into trouble. So, or maybe it was 14 to 15. I can't remember, 13 to 15. But they sent me to this program called the Academy at Swift River. The Academy at Swift River was a psychotic place where everyone else there was like super, I guess I could say down on their luck, but it's people that were like serially abused as children, people that like were in multiple foster homes, serious like heroin drug addicts. Like this was a school for like places where every other school was like, we can't handle them. And my parents were just like, oh, that's convenient and close to us and it's a boarding school. We'll send you there. And I was like, so I went there and I was like far and away, like I was there, I was in the hood is what I'm gonna say. Like when I say the hood, I mean dangerous everywhere. Okay. Like these guys were, everyone was wild. It was a mixture of people in gangs, a mixture of like psychotic, like schizophrenic people, like everything. It was all walks of life and all of them were serious business. But anyways, I was there and it was like a school, but it was like a therapy school. And it was very, very, very strange because you do a lot of group therapy and things like that. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm just kind of an asshole a little bit. And
wait, are both your parents Jewish?
Yeah.
This is like a whatever Jew question, I guess. But like, don't your people like value higher education and all that stuff?
Well,
wasn't that kind of weird?
It was an accredited school.
Well, sure, but it sounds like they're basically sending you to like last effort. Like this kid is like, how many people from Waterline Rehabilitation High School go to Harvard or Yale afterwards?
It was expensive back then. So this was, so I would have been like 16 or something. So that's like 20 something years ago. It was 65,000 a year back then. So I don't know what that is today. But
Damn.
That's like
That was like Emma Vigeland tier school.
yeah, but it was a full boarding school. You weren't allowed to leave. It was, but the thing
Jesus, that's like, do you know how much
Yes.
money that is?
That's a lot of
That's
money.
like in current day dollars.
That would be a lot. But it's a boarding school though.
Yeah, but that's cheaper. That what you did was like 3x the cost of like out of state private school tuition with full room and board. Like what? That's insane.
Yeah.
What do they mean today's sales? Like 130K or whatever for high school?
Yeah, for 18 months. And I mean, it was a crazy experience.
Did
I
they
went
reform you? What was the craziest thing they did there to you?
Well, for the first 60 days, I lived outside in a tent, not a tent, under a tarp, and that's what they do to break you.
Okay.
Like literally, like because remember, everyone else coming in there was like a serious, like, up. Like it's not, and I don't want to say like everyone there was mean because it wasn't just all like gangbangers or something. There were just kids that went through a million foster homes. There were kids that were like sexually abused multiple times and were lashing out in school. It was the gamut of like everyone that was like broken and couldn't make it in school. And then I don't know why they took me in the first place. I mean, yeah, I got kicked
I mean, if
out
you were
of
going to
school.
pay the money for it, they're probably like, hell yeah.
I did. I got kicked out of school. I have a funny story. Actually, quick side tangent.
Okay.
Before I went here, my parents tried to get me into another school. And as part of when you're interviewing for a school, you send your kid there for a day, you know, and basically they observe how you do. And when I went to this school, during my one day, I got in a fight and I punched another kid in the face on your intro day. And I remember when
What did you even get in a fight about?
I think it was like the tough guy at the school, right? Like, you know, I mean, I don't know what grade this was. This was like
Okay.
7th grade.
You were like, if you don't beat someone up on your first day, they're going to
No, I
break
didn't
you.
think
They're going
that.
to take you
He
out.
was
You got
coming
to
up
show
to
them
me.
you're a man.
He was
Okay.
coming up to me and he was all like Giga Chad, like, you think you got what? I don't know. Like, he was just like being a prick. He was like the bully or whatever of this grade. And I was like, you know, you think this means something to me? But anyways, I punched the kid in the face. And apparently, like, there've never been fights there before. Anyways, they still let me finish out the day. But at the end of the day, when they came, they told my dad, and they're like, so we don't think Dan's going to be a good fit here. And they're like, why? Why do you say that? And it's like, well, he punched a kid in the face. My dad looked at me and he was like, I could see at that moment, like on the drive home, it was like a mixture of like, yeah, like I think it was just like, he couldn't believe the situation, but he also thought it was kind of Giga Chad a little bit. Like, this piece of shit, I spent so much time getting you an intro to get to this school and you punch someone in the face. So it's like kind of like laughing at the situation. But anyways, yeah, the academy at Swift River was nuts. The whole school, they put you out in the woods for the first 1 to 2 months, depending on how long it takes to break you. And normally it's 30 days. But the problem is I came in there mostly normal, not much different than I am now. So they kept trying to like break me down more as if like...
What, were they like killing you, like beating you up or what?
It was harder than boot camp, like real boot camp for the military.
Okay.
So they had a former drill instructor that was the guy that was in charge of doing it out there.
Sure. To be clear, just real quick, because you did boot camp because you went into the
Coast Guard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because there might be some people that don't know that, so they think you're saying it's harder than boot camp. Like, well, what would he know? Just,
sorry,
I just wanted
yeah.
to further the audience. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it was like definitely harder. By the way, for anyone talking shit on Coast Guard boot camp, quick thing: it's the second hardest boot camp to pass after the Marines. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead and Google it. It's
Wait, I didn't even know that.
yeah.
Wait, I thought they have different boot camps.
They all have different boot camps. Navy, Coast Guard for enlisted people. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's mostly because you have to learn specific stuff about what you're going to do. So if you're in an Air Force boot camp, it's going to be based around like learning things about, I don't know, planes and aircraft carriers and like that, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I thought boot camp was like basically just like conditioning and like learning broadly about the military, and then you went more.
Yeah, it is,
specific,
but
right?
it's very much segmented for each unit because they teach you like the stuff I learned, the ranks that you learn, they're Coast Guard ranks. They're not Navy ranks. They're not Army ranks. So it's like different. And you go in there and they're like, this is how you put out a fire on a 41-foot
okay.
Coast Guard thing. And, you know,
And then like Air Force boot camp, it'll be like these are the types of chairs that you have.
For
in your
anyone who's
office.
considering
Oh my God.
enlisted in the future, it's like 80% schooling while you're in enlisted boot camp and like 20%, you know, making you run around and do a lot of effort like that. So it's not too bad. But with this, it was 80% just making you run around and do push-ups, and you're just exhausted and beat, and that's it.
You have to know all the ranks from the other people too, right?
You have to know, yeah, when you're in there, you have to know everything.
From like the Army and the Navy?
No,
No?
only Coast Guard people.
Wait, do you have to don't you have to salute like you have to salute people from other branches, right? Or not? Like if a commander, master, army, general, sergeant from like the army came up to you, would you have to know
they're all
to like
the same
salute
ranks
him,
for
or?
officers? I don't think they are. No, they're not, because I know. Look this up once. So you have like ensign, lieutenant, lieutenant commander, like that. But there's different ranks for officers. So I didn't know any of them, but I mean I know typically if you see like gold bars or like that here, like the only thing you know is if it ain't petty officer or chief or senior chief or anything like that, you know you ain't saluting. You're just saying, hey, what's up, homie? That's it. But
Is there anybody that would salute you? How do you get saluted? Do you have to be a certain rank?
you have to either be a chief, you have to become a warrant officer,
Okay.
which you can do as enlisted, like you work there long enough, and then you can become a warrant officer, or you have to go and go to college first.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wait, you didn't go to college. You went into the military, right?
No,
So you started off as a
nothing.
dirt.
Yeah,
Into
I
the
was the
dirt.
dirt.
Oh my god! And you got all the way up to masters. Oh.
Yeah, right.
Well.
Yeah, I got up to master dirt.
Are you MD 944?
The does that mean?
This guy made a post on a subreddit called "Troubled Teens."
Oh yeah, that's what they called. Yeah, there's a book
That's what
about
they called what?
There was a very famous book. I'm not in it.
This is a guy. The title of this Reddit post is "I went to academy at Swift River. Mm-hmm. I believe I was gaslighted and brainwashed into believing I was an addict when I wasn't.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This was a
I'm now living with the repercussions and am exhibiting all the symptoms of having survived a cult."
Yeah, it was really bad. There's a famous book about it. If I remember it, trouble. It was basically like not half, maybe a quarter of the people. Like they have these peer groups there, and I think a quarter of them from each have ended up killing themselves by the time they're like 30. What It Takes to Pull Me Through, I think that's it. I can't remember. Anyways, crazy experience, crazy school. But for the most part, I just kind of coasted through after the first, miserable experience of it, like there. And they just, because they had their hands full with wild childs. And I was just sitting there like watching from the sidelines.
Jeez.
This is all in the Patreon lore video. This plus 3 hours more of
Which Patreon?
On our Patreon.
You were supposed to say patreon.com/anything else.
Yeah, that one. Like one of the first posts there is that lore video if you're curious about that. But yeah, that was a surreal experience. But don't feel too bad. But man, the craziest part there was that all of the therapists were like bachelor degree, fresh out of, whatever, UMass or whatever college they came out of. You have to remember back then, it's not like they had like the internet and Wikipedia and they like the DSM was like all up to date. Like that was like, it was like offline, So all their knowledge was like, I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, would you trust an architect that didn't have the internet growing up? It's different, Like, did they know about concrete PSI strength? And did they see that study that came out of Geneva and all this other? It's like, I don't know.
Back then they had books and magazines.
Yeah, but the was old. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Sorry, that was like a long tangent. What were we even talking about?
I don't know how we got there. Oh, something about you going to high school and not going to college, and then Hasan, I think.
Hasan. Yeah, hate that guy. It all leads back to Hasan.
True.
Okay. Anyone know where the fuck we were going with that? They definitely had the DSM. I know they had the DSM. I'm just saying that, like, it feels weird if you went to college right now and it's like there was no internet type of thing. It just feels like you only have the books in your library to learn from. Not that that's bad, but it's like all of your information is like 5 to 10 years out of date. It feels like with those books that you're going there. Like
we're pretty good about publishing new books and putting them on the bookshelves.
You think?
Yeah, I think they got the publishing thing down
I don't know.
Pretty good.
It just seems like such a different world compared to today, where it's just like you're learning like as of right now, like everything.
I think back in the 80s and 90s, they were printing new books. Sometimes every day they'd print another book.
Fuck off. All right. So yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Let's get right into the news of what it is. Okay.
Bro.
What? Oh, only fart when daddy tells you. Permanently banned. I don't know what this is about. What's this?
Stop being Indian! Stop!
What is...
Seems like a racist VTuber.
There's a lot of them lately, huh?
Are there, or is it the same one? I don't remember what they all look like.
I don't know. All right, let's just get this out of the way. The AI actually Indian kind of pisses me off a little bit because I feel like when we talked about that, we came up with that. Like, I don't think we were reading a story about how someone, at least I hope we weren't. We weren't reading a story about like Indians faking being. No, we weren't. We were just that ahead of the curve.
No, we were ad-libbing.
Will you be slightly upset if someone makes the exact movie and they call it actually Indian?
No, I'll be happy that that idea was birthed into the world and I can witness it firsthand.
What about if they do a really bad job?
Then I'll be upset that a good concept was taken and run into the ground and nothing better was made from it.
Do you know what I'm upset about? There was this post on Reddit back in the day,
Okay.
and it was about this Marine platoon that suddenly got transported back in time, like...
To the Roman times.
Yes. And that was, and the guy was apparently like a really good story writer, and someone reached out to him about doing it, and it never got done. And I felt like that was very, like, what a waste. You had so much interest, great story, great concept. Like, I would
be
watch
that much interest?
I'd watch that.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
I think it'd be interesting for like 5 seconds, and then it'd be like, oh wow, the guns shoot through and everything and kill everybody, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, but like then they'd run out of bullets, then
and then
they'd
they
run
would
out of
probably
gas.
lose. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's annoying.
Yeah, it is. Make him go away.
We
I thought you carried. If you knifed him in the middle of the air, I would give you $1,000 on the spot. If you
that thing,
chop
it's
it in
a
half,
fruit fly.
Yeah, but show me your knife. If you,
I can't knife a fruit
okay,
fly.
we'll just let him chill then. He's just
All right. All AI is just Indian guys who type really fast. Okay, actually Indian. Over 700 Indians pretended to be AI. Natasha earning nearly $500 million. Back in 2016, 2 Indian entrepreneurs, inspired by the booming promise of AI. Wait a second. 2016. There was no talk of AI going on back then.
Okay.
Like, did anyone give a about AI before the ChatGPT launch? I feel like no one gave a and they definitely did not give a in 2016. It was not booming.
When did ChatGPT 2 come out?
Don't tell me, yes, it was. I was there with a data
When the
center of
things were written.
GPUs. I would know if AI
Show me
would-
show me the ChatGPT 2. When did that release? Because wasn't that the big one that came out when people started to have conversations and they're like, whoa. Or am I making that up?
launched in 2022.
Damn. Okay. I feel like this is when the AI stuff started to become real popular online.
Yes, it is. That's when all of a sudden people are like, wait a second. The shit we had before that was like the fake demo. Like, do you remember Google released this demo of like, okay, Google demo, make appointment. This whole thing was fake. I wonder if there's still a video of it somewhere. Yeah, this thing. This was in 2018, by the way.
Okay.
Not 2016.
Is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what
Oh,
you're
I
gonna
remember this. I
hear
was actually hyped as for
the
this.
Google Assistant
Okay, so first off, before we watch this, remember that Maya and Miles can barely tell us what time of day it is without telling us to pump the brakes or have like an orgasm.
It's just so wrong, but go ahead. That was an unbelievably incorrect statement.
That's how long it took for audio to even be somewhat have a conversation with. Now listen to this and tell me if you think this is realistic. In real time, by the way.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? The first name is Lisa.
Okay, how much of this do we need to watch?
Perfect.
Okay,
So I
but
will-
the point
It could. So I think
this was fake.
Sure. I think even at the time, it might have been able to do some versions without this voice. The voice would sound very robotic. It'd
be robotic as. Remember
Yeah.
how bad even TTS was, and remember like how much training you had to do to even get like our TTS donations to sound like me or Mr. Mooten. It's like we had to read a novel.
Yeah, and they were like very clearly TTS.
Yes,
Like it was
exactly.
the most hilarious thing on stream when something happened to actually sound like the person because it was so
Yeah, I
rare.
remember.
There was one where because you were on stream and you were going like L L L L L L to sound like the Dan TTS.
Yeah, well, there was that, and then there was the other one. It was a very funny moment. We'll never be able to find it. It was you were watching something, and it was about, and they called the number, and then there was just a recording, and it was silence for a second, and then someone donated, and it was like dubstep or something like that right at that moment. It was a very funny moment whenever it is. But anyways, yes, this is all. This is 2 years after when you degenerates in chat seemed to think that AI was already having its moment in time. Trust me, it wasn't. I was there. I wish I could have sold GPU time to some of these.
My guess is they probably opened a company doing some type of like
They had some rendering use back then.
some rendering. It was probably some crypto related thing probably.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, but anyway, and then they changed the name of the company or something later. But go ahead. What was the rest of this?
So let's see. Hold on. Put DGG up for a little bit now.
There's a Dubstack meme.
Upon calling the number, which is surprisingly still active, you're merely met with this.
Dubstack.
Illeague addict to feels.
I'm sorry.
Good times.
Good meme.
Yeah,
Scary.
those are different days, you know?
That was scary.
Okay.
Okay.
The project quickly took off thanks to Natasha as a so-called revolutionary no-code AI. We call those vibe coding, I think. Okay. I don't know. I just hear my developers talk about vibe coding, and I assume it means they're not doing any work. A so-called revolutionary no-code AI, often compared to ChatGPT. But there was one big catch. Natasha wasn't AI at all. She was a team of over 700 real developers in India. How the would that possibly work? Because, like, I'm going to a ChatGPT, like, make me a program. Is this guy, like, typing out really fast in front of me? Is this, like, AI, like, by mail? Okay.
Wait, hold on.
I was about to read how it worked, but go ahead.
I feel like this whole story might be fake. Were there any mainstream sites that published this story? Because go back in time and think. My history brain is on, right? There are certain things where somebody would say, "Oh yeah, there was like a jet plane that won that won World War I or whatever," and you're like, "Jet planes didn't exist. That would change everything or something," right?
Yeah.
In 2016, somebody created
I don't believe there was like
an AI akin to ChatGPT, and people use this, and it says this worked successfully for 8 years, and nobody talked. I've never heard this company before. Have you heard of this? What are they called?
It might
Builder
be
AI. Have you ever heard of this company before?
You think this is like all like a? I mean,
Well, Google Builder AI. Is there any mainstream media that is like that reported on this story? Good one, Dan.
sorry, my bad. Let me go ahead and unblock Google real quick.
Why is it doing this? What happened?
Okay, let's try here.
TimesofIndia.indiatimes.com.
Times of India is a fake website, and I can tell you this because, listen,
Yeah.
they put like my memes on that website.
Wait, is it actually like a fake website?
It's not like it's like a
like
you know-
a Daily
you know how
Mail
if-
fake
if,
or
like-
like The Onion fake?
fake like Wes BTW reveals that he has AIDS live on stream.
Okay, well, that's what I just got linked as a source for this story. How this Microsoft-backed billion-dollar
No,
London
that's not-
startup
it's not
made
that-
700 engineers sitting in India pose as AI tool.
No, Times of India. Okay, hold on. Click. Thank you. Jesus.
Oh, Bloomberg article.
That'll work. All I know is if they write about me, I'm not taking this site super seriously.
We need an
Do
archive.
you trust this website right now? Take a look.
Yeah, why would I not? What was the title for this?
It's creating terrorist. Kick streamer Dan Saltman links DC museum shooter to Twitch.
Did you not say that?
I said he had a Twitch account. He does.
Well, it
And
seems
then
like
we
this
have
story is
Awk
true.
here on the Times of India. Awk 2000.
Well, yeah, then it seems like there's a truth. This is all true.
Okay.
So it seems like a reputable website now.
I think when they start putting me up on there, I'm like, hold on a second.
What?
So is it real? Bloomberg said
I
it's
don't
real
know.
or no?
The tech world is reeling from revelations that Builder.ai, once hailed as a $1.5 billion
I feel like I don't buy it either.
AI
No.
powerhouse, now faces scrutiny, blah, blah, blah. They had once garnered acclaim for its strategic partnership with Microsoft, and an investment led by the Qatar Investment Authority is initiating bankruptcy.
You know,
wait.
You know, Redact had a competitor. One. Did you know this?
Redact had a competitor?
We did.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was called Life Brand.
Oh, I didn't remember that. Okay.
It's a very funny story. Okay.
Okay.
So Life Brand. For this mouse.
You know what we should get you?
Oh god.
I bet this product, I wonder if this product exists. Do you think that there is a wireless, are they called ball mice?
Yeah, I know it's your trackball.
Trackball. Do you think there's a wireless trackball mouse?
There's enough boomers out there for it. Yeah. Okay. These guys raised like $30 million from your guy, Mr. Wonderful, speaking of.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be a Redact.dev competitor. But from what I've read, and I'm going to be very careful with the way I say the things I'm about to say right now, my understanding of the lawsuits that have been filed states that of the money that went to him, to the company, a very large portion of that went to having their name put on a stadium. And then a larger portion of the company, my understanding, this could be incorrect, based on the filings that I've read, allegedly, went to the founder of the company. And then the company went bankrupt. All the employees were kicked off, or the entire board resigned. And then Giga Chad, a brand new company, appears from the ashes and buys the entire code out from all the investors those pesky investors that were in the last company. Now it's just some new guy comes in like, hey, I'll buy all your assets for some amount of money that is not very much money.
Based.
And no investors in this new company.
That's based. Oh, I wish I could remember this scheme. Do you know what the cap is on your capital gains carry forward losses are? Like, how much can you deduct from your taxes if you have a loss in a capital gains investment in a year?
I think some of them is like, for instance, charitable giving is, I think, unlimited.
No, for capital gains losses. Like if you lose on a stock and you sell it, how much can you deduct from your taxable capital gains income?
Can you carry it forward at all?
You can. The cap is $3,000 per year.
Yeah, I didn't think
so. If you were to lose like everything, you're capped at $3,000 a year. Donald Trump did. I wish I could remember this scheme, but I read about this. But he did something where he was going to have like a huge capital gains loss, and I don't know if he reverse merged it into another business or what, and then sold it. But he found a way to basically get a ton of tax avoidance by not doing that carry forward loss. But I don't know the scheme, so there's no.
That sounds realistic. It's like you're about to lose a bunch of money. So instead of you losing the money, you sell the money losing to another company, and then that company, you've invested in that company, and then when a company goes under, investments you can carry forward.
Some kind of scheme like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think there's another one of those in here.
Yeah,
They're multiplying. Where there's one, there's multiple. All right. Well, anyways.
EDCM.
I'll try. You want me to just blast them?
Now I know exactly where your firearm is. I could disarm you in 2 seconds.
You couldn't, because you can only pull it out from one specific angle. It's like the cop holster.
I know judo. I practiced.
Okay. Judo. You're talking to the guy that invented it. Brave hero saves Palestine by shooting 2 people at a Jewish museum.
Based.
Not based.
Wait, is there a Jewish connection to judo?
Yeah.
What?
What? Are you joking right now? I'm not with you. You understand? It's like a Mossad. It's our martial art.
Me. Oh, you were so obvious the way you went.
I'm sorry.
I'm not fucking with you right now.
I'm trying to be by being more egregious. I thought that it would work because by trying to do it subtle, that's your strategy. That's why I can always see through it instantly.
Well,
by
I'm
being
always
overly
subtle,
aggressive, it's like I understand that you're going to be skeptical, so that by me being overly brazen with it,
You could have really taken me for a ride on that one, and you f***ed it up completely.
Whatever.
Yikes. Huge opportunity thrown away.
I saw Hasan on this stream, and he was on his best behavior for this.
Which stream? The
when this came out of oh no, wait, this is not this one. This is the Jewish. Oh Jesus Christ. Cyber is really like, I got a week and a half of to put in here. This is the last. I always thought we were talking about the dude that got firebombed.
Oh.
He was on his best behavior for that one from the other day. Like by far best behavior.
Do you understand how rough it would be to get another 24-hour ban? I'm sure he's trying to be real careful.
He even said that this person, he didn't even suggest that they were a false flag.
That's great. He's being so responsible.
He did for the other one. For this one, he did. This is all, on his day off. It is just so blatant what they do. I was going to say I was going to hand it to Twitch, but I don't know. What the could possibly be happening that they're allowing? Do they not see like all the press coming out? Do they not see like streamers saying they're making 10 times more money at Kick? Do they not see like all this? It's just so crazy to me that they're not doing anything. What could possibly be going on to explain it?
Ideology.
No, I don't think so. Because like
it has to be.
There's someone above him that's like, hey, this company's losing money and you guys are all crackers.
Yeah, but they're what?
Oh, like nuts, not like white people. Like, oh, you're proper crackers, mate.
Okay.
Sorry.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, like, I imagine they're probably just like, oh no, we stand by our creators when it comes to like hating Jews or whatever.
Wait, I can use that word. It's like the Jewish privilege. It's we're both white and not white, like
Depending on
chameleons
who's attacking you
at the same time.
I will say that it's kind of funny that a few years ago, I feel like I at some point said something like, you know, it wouldn't be surprising if there was like leftist violence or something that started happening at some point.
I feel like
I've
we're
said
there.
this.
Yeah, we're
well,
there.
I feel like we're there. We're past that. It
Oh,
is
yeah,
happening.
sure.
But no offense, because nobody gives a fuck about Jews.
Yeah.
It like doesn't matter at all. I think like there's not like one man, George Floyd, sent this nation into a tizzy.
Yeah.
And if I feel like if any of these people had been black, and a guy was shouting like black people, or like this is for South Africa or something, that we would have like, there would be a lot more outrage. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know about the second one, or I don't know about the first one. In one of these, didn't the guy explicitly, literally say this is for Palestine or something?
Yeah, that was in the firebombing one.
Okay, yeah. Did they say anything about the shooting one, or do they know anything about that? Like people really don't give a
Yeah, they, you know, because it's not, they're not killing Jews, you know.
Yeah, but then you're in a weird world where like the administration like hardcore sims for Israel, so nobody like thinks it's a serious thing. But I do feel like we're in an environment where like the ingredients are all there for some crazy pogrammatic shit, if you know what I mean.
I thought about this. So first off, the reason that you're going to say, what do you mean they're not killing Jews? And I say, oh, they're killing Zionists. Big difference. But I think that as long as Israel exists and it's this nuclear armed country, and I say this cautiously because I don't know how much Israel gives a about American Jews. I hope a little bit, but I don't think that there's
Careful.
like, what?
You're stumbling into one of the most anti-Israel arguments ever.
That what?
The thing that all the Arabs and the Western people will say is Israel is actually
What?
directly contradictory to their mission by making Jews safer, because just the existence of Israel and the way they treat the Palestinians actually puts every single Jew in the world at risk.
No, I was going to say the opposite to that.
What?
I was going to say that as long as Israel exists, you really can't have a Holocaust of like Americans or something. Like if Trump wanted to start rounding up like the Jews and deporting them to like El Salvador, like, you know, Israel's a nuclear armed state with submarines and like that. Like that's probably not happening.
Does Israel have like ICBMs though?
Israel has nukes, yes.
I know they have nuclear warheads, but do they have like the delivery vehicles to send those to America?
Dude, this is the country that put like pager bombs out. They probably got all
pager bomb is a lot. Who do they need to shoot missiles
the
that
answer
far
is
at?
Yeah, they have submarines and submarines equal anywhere launch at people.
Nuclear subs?
The sub doesn't have to be nuclear.
Like nuclear warhead carrying subs. No shot. I don't believe that.
Let's find out.
There's no way.
Israel submarines. Dolphin class.
Oh, Dolphin class can't carry.
What does this one last one say right here?
They're believed. Oh, but that's the AI as well.
So now we don't trust the AI because it went against what you were saying.
Correct.
Okay.
But also, just from my guess would be just from a strategic standpoint. Wait, do you understand the concept of? Oh, I won't quite. But so, like, the nuclear triad exists because you want to be able to have a deterrent effect on anybody that might use nuclear weapons against you, right? So, like, oh well, even if you nuke my capital, I've got subs and shit all over the world that could come out and fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Like, Israel is not currently faced with any nuclear equipped enemies, so I don't know why they would have nuclear submarines. Like, what are they just going to hang out in the Mediterranean, where it's like what would they do? Like, they don't need like a nuclear deterrent like that. Like, they have nukes in their country. I don't think they need.
As to why they have nukes, I don't know the answer to it.
No, I know they have nukes, but I'm talking. So, like, for instance, like North Korea, I believe has nukes, but the problem is delivering the nukes with ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Like, shooting them really, really, really far and accurately is like the challenging thing. Just having like enriched uranium and creating nuclear warheads is one thing, but then having the delivery vehicles is a whole other thing.
Well, I don't think the delivery vehicle is actually quite difficult. I mean,
so if you would ask me, I would assume that, because we've been shooting rockets since the 60s, but apparently the delivery vehicles are difficult, because that's like what North Korea, that's what pisses off Japan all the time. Is like, oh God, they're testing their ICBMs again. And so apparently making ICBMs are somewhat difficult.
so the missiles are difficult. The vehicle is not. The vehicle is a tube that shoots a missile.
I don't know what words.
Okay, are we talking about like the actual flying thing in the air, or are we talking about
when
the
I say
sub?
vehicle, I mean the delivery mechanism. So
the
like
submarine delivers the nuke.
no, so
then-
submarine would be. I mean, when I say delivery vehicle, I mean like a warhead is just like a
Yeah,
thing
I
that
understand.
explodes,
On
and that
a
goes
rocket.
onto a delivery vehicle, like a
okay,
missile.
on the rocket.
Yes.
You don't know if they have rockets like that.
Sure, I would say missile because missiles are
Oh,
rockets.
fuck off. Whatever. Yeah, the big pointy thing, as they say in Borat here.
Sure.
So I don't know. I mean, I think they probably have it. If it was my guess, they seem like they would.
Okay. The only reason why I think they wouldn't is because one is they would have to have a testing program for it, and I feel like I could have missed it, but I feel like if there was a time in history where
Couldn't
Israel
they just
was,
buy it from someone else
that would be a big deal, because Israel, one,
to buy ICBMs?
they're not supposed to have nukes, and then two, why would they spend money on ICBMs? Like, who are they ICBMing? Like, I don't even know if Iran needs ICBMs to hit Israel. They just need medium ballistic missiles. Like,
So wait, is your theory that Israel doesn't have ICBMs, even non-nuclear?
Yes, because I don't think they would need them. That would be my guess. I could be wrong, but
Of course, you could be wrong. Does Israel
I like to hedge there so that even if I am wrong, then I can say, oh, well, see, I already
Yeah,
predicted.
but
so I'm right no matter
I've yelled
what.
at you before. Just say nothing, because at least then,
He's so mad.
okay, at least then, you look based when you say it. There you go. Yes, they do possess, according to AI, between 90 and 400 warheads. And
Well,
then,
click the underlying link.
what? I was going to go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, but just click what it links to. The first part there, it has a link. No,
what?
Do you understand what the link button is next to the AI statement?
Okay,
At the end, no, at the end of the statement, the link.
this thing.
Sorry, yes.
Chill the f out. You were wrong. Remember that, okay? You're very
didn't,
cocky
because I
right
said-
now.
no, I
You
said-
said they didn't have these
No,
things.
I just didn't know what the
So
link
you're-
button
you're-
was.
you're-
I said I just don't see why they would have them. It doesn't make sense to me. But go ahead and so left click. I don't know why you right click.
That's left clicking.
Oh, it doesn't do anything.
How do you feel right now?
He's so mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay, click the
I'm,
click the
I'm-
thing.
I'm
Click the
disappointed
top
in
link
you.
on the right
The
one.
one I clicked before that's purple because I clicked it before? This one? Okay. Okay. All right. Jericho. In Hebrew, Jericho. No, sorry. I can't do it. Is a general designation given to a loosely related family of deployed ballistic missiles developed by Israel since the 60s. ICBM, and preceded the development of the Jericho 3 ICBM. So they do have it. So there you go. They got it. How many they got?
Control of atmosphere. What is the range of these?
Well,
Capable of carrying a 1,000 kilogram warhead more than 5,000. What did that say?
operational range. 11,500 kilometers. How far is that?
Pretty far, isn't it? Hold on. A 5K is 3.1 miles. So it's about a little over, I'm going to say 6.4 miles.
All right. 6.5 miles.
No, I'm sorry. I mean 6,400 for here.
Okay. 6,400 miles.
Are there different okay, well, that makes sense. Well, wait, what's the difference between like ICBM and MCBM?
I don't even understand. Like, if it goes into space, can't it just like stay up there and wait and like hit anything?
Well, does this go in? It says multi-stage, so it must. Click control of atmosphere or space. Like, do you need to go to space to shoot a missile Well, that's a long distance, I guess. 5,000 miles, right?
Okay. It is believed that the Jericho 3 is a nuclear-armed ICBM, entered service in 2011, believed to have 2 or 3 stages, a payload of 1,000 to 1,300 kilograms, nuclear warhead. Hold on. We got someone that blue texted us. I'm not going to even read it. Watch this. Boom. No one will ever know what you said.
Jesus.
Unless you sub. Then I'll go back and I'll read it. On 17 January 2008. Oh, scrolled past it. Damn it. You had your shot. I'm such an asshole. That guy's going to show up and kill me now.
Damn.
All right, I'll read your message. Destiny and Dan, Israeli Dolphin-class subs only have torpedo tubes. That's what they want you to think, okay? Why, Eternal? No ballistic missile launchers. The only possible nuclear strike that could be carried out by those subs would be via torpedo or a short-ranged tube-launch cruise missile, neither of which have anywhere near the range of an ICBM like the Jericho. In short, Jizraeli subs have no capability for intercontinental nuclear strike. I don't know if that's true because I've seen what it looks like when a sub underwater launches a missile and they open a tube, a thing comes out, goes out of the water, and then this rocket fires, and that's it. And it's no different than any other.
Wait, what do you mean? Or wait, what do you mean? Why are you saying, wait, what is that contradicting?
Because he's saying like they only have torpedo tubes, and it's like, well, okay, even if that was true, they could like go underwater enough, launch something out a torpedo tube, and then have it essentially rise. And have you seen like how it works underwater with the?
I could be totally wrong, but I think for the subs that shoot ICBMs, don't they have to surface to shoot those? I don't think they shoot them out of a torpedo tube. I think they have to surface and then they shoot from the submarine. I could be totally wrong though.
There you go.
Oh, somebody said no. Maybe they don't. Damn, that's wild. You can shoot them from underwater. That's
Yeah. It comes out and then it turns up. Boom! See, so it just launches it enough to get it out of the water, like a basketball flying out of the water, and then the
What's
shit.
the range on like that thing?
It's an ICBM anywhere in the world. It goes up into
4,000
space.
miles is not anywhere in the world, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know why
that thing can go into space.
Why any rocket can go into space?
Well, it looks
right?
small, like 5'8". I'm sorry.
Well, this one.
Launching ballistic missile under the sea is a capability very few countries have.
Oh, this guy.
A ballistic missile class submarine will surface to 50 meters depth. Using compressed gas, the ballistic missile is launched to the surface. After surfacing, the missile...
See, so you know what they could do instead, right? It's like doing a stunt in Battlefield 2 with the jet. You go down, right, with the sub, really deep, and then you come up vertical, like the sub is going straight up, and you launch your ballistic missiles straight out the torpedo tubes, and then they're coming straight up on the surface. Boom, problem solved. Just like that.
I feel like the people inside the submarine would not be having a good time.
Well, they're going to be strapped in their seats. They'll be all right. Like that.
Wait, can submarines like do a barrel roll, or would it like explode?
I don't see why not.
Google, can submarines roll?
Like, what
Like,
do you?
like you know, with your yaw and your...
Can it go like do a 360? Like
no, just like roll over, like roll, like around like the center axis of the...
Okay. Can roll over? No.
Yes, that says yes.
Well, this one said no.
Oh, Quora versus AI overview. Who's right?
This guy says no on Reddit. No auto leveling, all manual.
Damn. What?
I don't know. Who gives a shit? Whatever. I forget where you're even going.
Wow.
with this.
Okay. Well, so since 2011. Okay, so I don't know as much recent Israeli history, but I feel like wouldn't everybody in the world be like, bro, why do you need that?
Well, maybe since back then.
What's the range from to Tel Aviv? 4,000 miles. That's a pretty far.
6,000.
6,000. That's like America hits. What is Israel? What would they ever have to bomb at that range? What's it like Tel Aviv to Moscow? I bet you could hit a missile. I bet you could shoot Russia with that.
Thanks, AI. 6,000 miles of South Dakota.
Jesus. Okay, so definitely Moscow, right?
Wait, that might be halfway. Is that anywhere? Hold on. Can we just?
Oh, because that's most of the world, because it's like a globe.
That is true.
But not all the way over there. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
not
probably
like-
not a lot of the Pacific, right?
What's the Is it anywhere in the world? Hold on.
What's the distance from? I just want to know Tel Aviv to Moscow.
No, we need farther than that. What's on the opposite side of Israel? Hold on.
Wait, let's try to guess. Think about it. Hold on, stop. I already know the answer. It's gonna be really boring. Ready?
Idaho.
It's gonna be like Hawaii. It's gonna be someplace in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
I mean, yeah, it's probably in the ocean.
Yeah. Have you seen a map of like?
I'm going to say somewhere in America.
No. Do you know what it looks like when you're looking at like the Pacific Ocean, like head on? It's just like the whole thing is water. There's like no. There's a lot. It's a big place.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in the water.
And yeah.
So it can hit. Where's Idaho? It's like here, right?
No, Idaho's near Washington, northwest.
Is it? So it's like here?
No, northwest.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. You think? I wonder if it goes this way. We need like a real globe.
Wait, real quick. Just do Tel Aviv to West Hollywood.
Hold on. I know where.
I'm just curious.
That's funny. Any specific address in West Hollywood? All right, here we go.
Oh, look, wait. Bring up the Pacific Ocean. Just look at how much water there is. Look at all that. That's a lot of water.
That's like the whole.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
What was going on there?
So Israel, this little bro, okay, right here, can go. Damn, that's far. Like if they can get there, it's pretty much
Almost everybody.
That's like except South America and like LA. Yeah. Serious business. Interesting. All right. Well,
I feel like it's kind of.
so you saw the shooting of this God, what a disgusting. Can we? I don't know how up to date this is. Did you see that Flacco?
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
He's not crazy.
The Haza guy.
Huzza. Desperate for a crumb of Hasan's dick to stay relevant, so he says wild.
Jesus.
It reminds me of Mike from PA, but with less viewers and less clout, which is
Jesus.
impressive.
Didn't Mike just say some recently crazy shit? Maybe.
Yeah,
it's
but
in
that's
here.
his thing. He's always trying to say shit.
How do they? It is crazy how invulnerable they are.
Yes, they say
Like Mike is just like
calling for like people to be punched, to be killed, like
he did it with
breaking the
Ethan. When I
TOS
was
and
playing that
nothing
clip
happens.
about Ethan, I thought he was gonna say like somebody needs to like clock this guy, and by that I just mean like make sure that he's not being crazy. But he's like he just goes on and on and on with it. I'm like Jesus
he's not going to
Christ.
stop until he's bleeding out the corner.
Yeah, and I'm
of his
like
mouth.
holy. Bro,
Yeah.
chill. Damn. It's just crazy how invincible they feel.
It would be okay if it went always. If it went every way, then fine. Then f- it. I mean, actually, I don't even know if that would be okay because that's, how Hasan's like, I don't know why they want me off Twitch because on YouTube, like, they're not going to stop me. I'm like, I don't think you could do the things you did on YouTube. Like, I'm pretty sure you would get yoinked if you did that shit on YouTube.
Yeah, he'd be into trouble.
You would get like Twitch is safer for you than YouTube. You would not have that protection
Because
on YouTube.
most of Twitch's moderation, I think, is probably still manual,
Yeah,
and he's protected. Yeah.
it is.
Have you seen the movie Salt?
I feel like I have. What is it about?
Is it Angelina Jolie? She's like a spy.
Yeah, I think yes, I've seen it. I think is that the one where she's like immortal or something?
No, what?
There's one where she's immortal. That's
No,
probably,
it's there's going to be a scene in Spy that we're going to have to play out, unfortunately. When she gets revealed to be like a triple spy, she has to murder her husband in front of the Russian spy leader.
I don't remember. But what about it?
That's going to be you. I'm going to have to watch you die, and then Dan Clancy will look at me and be like, "We can finally let you back
Oh,
to prove my loyalty." Unfortunately,
yeah. But would you even want to be on Twitch anymore? It looks like you don't. Like you make less money. There's no discoverability there. Like I don't think that like Asmongold and Tectone, they have no reason to like they showed their earnings.
Wait,
Like
click the recent DGG link. It would literally the one I would just like to be unbanned because I know that Hasan would lose his mind, and then two, he would lose the excuse not to debate me.
yeah, sure. But I mean, just to like. I think Asmongold posted his earnings. He made more in 2 days on Kick than he made in a month on Twitch.
Yeah, true. Although I don't think he runs ads on Twitch. He's really weird about money. See, that guy truly does. He does it for the passion.
He does. That's respectable, also.
Yeah.
But
He likes streaming.
I don't know. Like I've lost trying to understand it. To be. All right. So this one, condemn the murder.
I'm the murder 100%, and I don't want to see any violence come from this community, and I don't want people doing, violating any laws. That's like the number one thing that I'm focused on in this community, is making sure we don't do any law-breaking behavior.
But here it is. Next word.
But just keep that as the number one rule, because it's against Twitch terms of service to violate the law. Don't violate the law.
Like international law, like
One of the
genocide.
things that's really interesting about the shooting is it seems like the main victim was not Jewish. The guy was not Jewish. He was a Christian Zionist from Germany.
A drink real quick.
Okay.
And he seemed to spend a lot of time celebrating civilian deaths.
Did he though?
They should sue him. They should sue him.
Oh, like the Alex
Which was
Jones
really
stuff.
Shocking.
Fucking sue Mike.
So it makes me believe that this violence might have been targeted violence.
But I can't. Like I hear that and it would enrage me. Like imagine your family member died and this is saying that type of stuff. That like they should sue him. Like Alex Jones. Same.
Yes, they should. Five minutes behind, but nuclear submarines cannot do a barrel roll. The nuclear reactor has angle restrictions. Too much of a tilt, and the water will leave the core and melt down.
Because they don't have nuclear submarines. They got diesels.
Well, he was just saying nuclear submarines in general.
Yeah, we're talking about nuclear armed submarines, not.
Well, but he's talking about nuclear reactor submarines.
You know what? I don't trust.
That's just a good extra piece of information,
I'm not
okay?
even sure that's true. He could be lying. Like how
He said the nuclear reactor has angle restrictions, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You think they didn't assume that when they came in there?
Well, I don't know if
he doesn't
What
know
they might
either.
think is that submarines might never have a reason to do a barrel roll. Like
you gotta
might
do a barrel roll.
Why?
'Cause you gotta. It's like, have you not seen Red October?
No.
Yeah, they're shooting the torpedo, and you got to do a barrel roll to get away from it.
Can't you just put boosters on the side and like?
I don't know. Maybe possible. You know, you only got so many of them. Anyways, what a rat.
Yeah,
fuck.
that is pretty crazy.
He is just such a.
I also one of my favorite things is like the hyper analysis of like, well, actually, he was a Christian and blah blah blah. But like, if you were to make fun of some dude who like even remotely looked brown related to Israel Palestine, they'd be like, oh, sorry, you're being Islamophobic. You hate Arabs, don't you? And it's like the most instantaneous racism accusation ever from the whitest people in the universe.
I thought of something. How do I put this? So it's crazy to me because everyone on Twitch can say whatever they want about Jews by just replacing it with the word Zionist right now.
Yes.
Like literally, like
it's
whatever
like the silencer meme.
Yeah, it is. Because they say that it's the reason you can do that is Zionist is a political movement, but isn't not true.
Uh-oh. Ooh, we're about to get real edgy. Go ahead.
No, is it not part of Judaism as a religion going back to Israel?
That there will be a country. I don't think so.
Around Jerusalem?
Well, first of all, you should know this.
Well,
I'm
not religious at all. That's why I'm asking a question.
I feel like there are talks. Oh wait, no, isn't this like Revelation about the final lands?
I know parts of this because when fucking the thing comes back and then there's like this wave, like the AOE wave, and that's why all these people pay this huge amount of
but
money.
Is that part of the New Testament or the Old Testament?
Does it matter? It'll be religious either way.
Well, it would matter because you guys don't believe in the New Testament, right? Don't you? You only have the Old one.
Obviously, some of the Jews, yes, third Messiah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but is that
all I know, when I was in Israel, they were telling me, like, this is in all of our sacred books, whatever, that all these people, they spend all their money to have a grave as close as possible to here, to this spot, because when something happens, it's going to be this AOE ripple effect, and those who are closest to the center get resurrected first, or whatever it is. So it seems to me like this is a place that, you know, the Jews want to be for whatever reason. But I did think of an example, right? So, okay, fine. Would you say that Palestinian nationalist is a political movement?
Maybe, I guess.
Right? But forget it. It just doesn't matter. Like, I was trying to like come up with comparables, but really, like, you couldn't say anything about people that live in a igloo without getting banned on Twitch. That's it. It does, like, I'm trying to.
Oh, yeah, no, anything remotely resembling anything.
Anything that's not having to do with a Jew.
Well, no, actually.
What?
Because we're at a point with Trump and Hasan where you don't have to think of hypotheticals anymore. We already saw exactly this happen. Remember?
No.
When Hasan said, oh my God, did Ela call them Gazans? Remember that?
Yeah, I saw. And then he did it multiple times.
Sure. Well, yeah, but it was just like the stupidity of like, that was somehow like a racist denying the Palestinian. Like, yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
It's getting to be too much.
It is.
This whole shooting, this is Hasan's fault, I think. And Twitch, it's Twitch and Hasan's fault. I put the blame 30% on him, 70% on mental illness of this person. But also, like,
I think we have to be careful with the mental illness thing.
Well, I think if you are murdering people, you're probably mentally ill for the most part. Unless you're doing it for money.
But like, do you know MAID in Canada?
Who?
MAID, the assisted death program or whatever, like the euthanasia they have.
I don't know what that is.
You know the weird catch-22 where it's like, I'm in so much like mental anguish, I want to finally end my life, and they're like, well, yeah, but the problem is that we don't let crazy people end their life. And it's like, well, I'm not crazy. It's like, but you want to die, you're suicidal, so you're crazy. Like, definitionally, you end up defining away all of the people that might want to kill. So I think there's a fear when we talk about these mass shooters. Like, was the Luigi guy crazy? Because we have baked into crazy the idea that, well, if you do a mass killing or you go kill people, you're obviously crazy. But that means that we can never have sane murderers, which means we can never say some of these ideologies might be problematically contributing to what's going on because everybody that does them are just crazy, right?
Okay, fine. Not mental illness. He deluded himself into thinking that he would be like another Luigi, is what I would say, because of people like Hasan that did idealize that.
Yeah, I think that's problematic.
Yeah, like definitely. They're like, oh, this guy's a hero. Yeah, free him. Free Luigi. He's so great. And then there's like surprised Pikachu face when more people start coming out and just shooting random coming out of buildings or throwing Molotovs at people, like talking about hostages coming home. Like,
yeah. What was the rest of that story? Click one of these news things. I'm just curious. I haven't heard anything else about this guy. What happened?
Of this one? You don't know about the... Okay.
No, I was at a field trip and I didn't following.
Officials are calling the murder of 2 young Israeli embassy workers in Washington, D.C. a targeted act of anti-Semitism. The suspect who yelled "Free Palestine" after he was arrested has now been charged with murder. CTV's Camilla Giuseppe reports.
Well, they both did it.
Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram were set to be engaged this summer. Instead, their lives were ended before they could begin a life together.
And opened fire, striking both of our decedents.
The suspect has been identified as 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez. He was seen pacing outside the museum before he fired his gun.
So he pulls out his keffiyeh and he says, I did it. I did it for Gaza. Free Palestine, and he's chanting this.
This is not the most appropriate outfit for
they arrest him.
Doing a news broadcast, right?
That was,
wait, pause, go back.
Why are you looking there?
It's not about looking there. That was probably not like a TV news reporter appropriate.
What is it? What does it say?
That is a plunge. That is not even plunging. That's a very deep.
What does it say?
What does what say? Oh, the thing? It says, "Don't look here."
Oh my God, my eyes are up here. That would be a base thing to have.
And he's chanting this, and then suddenly the police come in and they arrest him.
The U.S. president offered his condolences to the families, saying the D.C. killings were obviously based on anti-Semitism and must end now. Officials say the suspect targeted the Jewish community but acted alone. News of the killings has left Calgary's Jewish community reeling.
Absolutely horrific to hear these two.
Yes, he does look like Commissioner Gordon in Batman. I agree.
No, I wasn't. Well, that, and also, this guy does not.
What, look Jewish?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a janitor for some reason. I don't know.
You don't think they're lower class Jews?
No, I'm just like I don't know.
Why does he look like a janitor?
Mustache. Not a lot of Jews with mustaches.
Oh, okay. True.
Right? True?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. They like go full beard, kind of wild. Not that you look bad, Jared. Sure? I don't know about that. I'm just kidding, Jared.
Two young,
Jared,
thoughtful, intelligent people were simply murdered in cold blood.
Since the October 7th Hamas attacks, anti-Semitic acts have spiked, including vandalism, arson, assaults, and now murder, which has also...
That is something also that pissed me off recently.
What?
I think Hasan was trying to argue that there wasn't any like real increase whatsoever in anti-Semitism and since October 7th. And it's like something like 60% of the hate crimes in the United States have been towards 2% of the population. I guess we don't talk about that.
Well, I'm just saying, if that many people hate him...
resulted in enhanced security, but Jewish community members say they're feeling increasingly vulnerable.
Am I concerned? Absolutely. Jews throughout this country are wondering who's going to stand up and protect us.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand up. I'll be your champion, Jews. I get, you know, one of the nice things, I get a lot of death threats every day, but I get more people that thank me every day. I shit you not. Not that I'm like, you know, really, you know, out there like going to Gaza or anything like that, but still, it is nice having more thank yous than yous.
That's good.
I like that.
Okay.
The tougher measures in place to deter anti-Semitic acts, but also blames the spread of misinformation and disinformation about Jews and Israel for the recent
disinformation.
Camilla Giuseppe, CTV
like Hasan,
News, Calgary.
Re-education camps.
Wow. So wait, do we know any more information about this guy, or?
Well, I know his full everything because as soon as this happened, I went full crazy on this.
Wow.
He has a Twitch account, or he had one.
Okay. They banned him.
They banned it once they found it.
Oh, so killing Jews is where they crossed the line. That's good.
Well, that is funny, actually. That is what I should have come up with that joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's really good. I'm going to do that one later. That's smart. That's smart.
My bad.
Okay.
You could just quote tweet the banned account and say, I wonder if this is going to be a 3-day or a 30-day.
Well, it didn't, because the thing is, it was never, the streamer bans accounts only tracks like big accounts. It doesn't track nobody's.
That's why I said you would have to quote it. And
quote what?
I don't know, make a tweet about the thing and post an image and then...
I'd have to make a fake streamer banned account.
Never mind, okay.
Yeah, got it. Anyways, yeah, this psycho, not a psycho, sorry.
Did any more information come out about this guy?
He was in the not the PLA. He was in like some weird commie group, and he was in a long, I think it was a Discord chat with a bunch of people, and he didn't necessarily say anything specifically anti-Semitic, but it was a lot of like very, like, this is basically anti-Semitic stuff.
Okay.
Of course, all of those logs got leaked to, because it was a very left-leaning thing. It got leaked to, was it Klippenstein?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You a big fan, Klippenstein?
I don't know. I feel like I mix him up with everybody else, and then I see stuff from him sometimes, and I don't know if I like him or hate him. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, actually, you know what? Let's just look at it. Fuck it. Klippenstein, Elias Rodriguez. Why are all these Spanish people becoming so...
They're integrating.
This is the guy. This is him.
Damn. This is how we convert immigrants better than anyone else in the world. This is because these kinds of attacks are like white people things. And look, this guy is just as much an American and integrated.
Job, Steve.
Well, mine.
Sorry. True.
You're Jewish, not white. Careful.
Well, I mean, it depends who you ask. All right. Okay. Where we start? At the top. Within minutes of the brutal gunning down of 2 Israeli staffers in Washington, Trump said they were based, obviously, on anti-Semitism, a term reiterated by his FBI director and other administration officials. Soon, the framing was taken up through the media that this guy was anti-Semitic. I asked the people who knew him if he was ever an anti-Semite, and they said that Rodriguez hated Israel and its policies, but he never focused on or indeed said much of anything about Jewish people. Unequivocally, no, a woman who knew Rodriguez said, if he ever made anti-Semitic remarks. Everything I know about him told me he acted in protest of the Israeli state and the Zionist ideology, not Judaism. Oh my God. Like,
imagine if I killed like 3 black people because of their participation in BLM. And then people were like, wow, racist.
No, they'd come to me and they'd be like, is Destiny racist? And I'd be like,
no, he hated BLM, but he had no problem with black people. But he knew that those 3 black people were part of BLM, but he hated BLM. But he had no racism in his heart whatsoever.
If you do it, I'll say that. Okay? I'll do that.
True.
So
thank you.
I will come out and I will say Stephen was not racist. He never said anything bad about black people ever. He just had a huge problem with
the civil rights movement and black liberation.
I don't.
And BLM.
Like, that's what I would have to do. This is like a Hasan viewer too, because I don't even know who would know how to say this besides the Hasan viewer. Everything I know about Elias leads me to believe he acted in protest of the Israeli state and Zionist ideology, not Judaism. Like, okay, thank you.
That's like a commie line. Yeah.
That is a Twitch chat line right there.
Yeah.
He never, ever said anything remotely racist about Jews or, hold on, we'll do this in a second, or anyone, said another, not even in a joking way. I would have sussed it out, too.
Bum, 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 bum.
People can pick up on stuff like that. I don't think so, said a man that's known him since middle school. Not openly, said a former coworker. One person gave me access to the messages from a private group chat where Rodriguez was a prolific poster. Probably a Yee poster, if you had to ask me.
Wait, I thought you liked... Oh, you like Pepe. Well, Pepe's a racist one, but... Was a prolific poster right up to the day before the shooting. I spent several days poring over his words. The messages don't reveal any hatred of Jews, per se, but they do portray an often bitter man who hated all sorts of other things, especially Israel and its war in Gaza. Why do you hate increasing the text so much? Like,
is that better?
Dude, go like 150. Okay.
You know, you can wear glasses. You'll look okay with glasses.
They're upstairs.
Well, you know, next time what you can do...
I don't know if I want like Grand Seiko glasses or what.
What?
I need stylish glasses. I'm just kidding. Next time I'll think about it.
Okay.
I didn't know this was
that means no, also, when you say...
One thing at a time... Oh, at least he has the peace rainbow. One thing at a time, I suppose. Had a hard time staying focused, so I turned the radio... Wait, was this supposed to be the day before, or are these just messages in general? Random messages?
I don't know. It doesn't
say. Okay, one thing at a time, I suppose. Had a hard time staying focused, so I turned the radio on to help lock in, as it were. Had NPR on for a bit, and they introduced a segment interviewing 2 IDF soldiers about what they witnessed in Gaza and how they cope. Made it even harder to focus. The genocide makes me go a bit nuts every few days and break down crying. Composed mostly of childhood friends, Rodriguez spoke candidly in the chat, spanning thousands of posts going back over a decade.
Holy
Wait, of what program is this? To give a sense of... Do they save the messages that long?
You know what they could use so that this would not have been an issue?
Signal. Ask Hegseth.
Yeah, well, okay, fine.
To give a sense of how intimate conversations could get, they would sometimes discuss Rodriguez's relationship with an older woman he met at a GameStop when he was a minor.
Oh my God, he's a pedophile. No, a reverse pedophile. He was a minor.
I bet he got off on him, so that makes him a pedophile.
Yep.
Asked about the age gap, Rodriguez wrote that she had just turned 23 when I was 15.
Reverse pedophile.
In another post, he confided that after my dad came home from Iraq, he had a couple violent outbursts, one of several references of his strained family dynamic. Posting was his real passion, said one of the chat participants.
What?
Oh boy, adding, he loved it. The friend said Rodriguez had drawn inspiration as a kid from the niche but culturally influential forum website Something Awful, particularly its irony-laced, misanthropic subforum, FYAD, short for You and I. Didn't SA end up going like ultra uber woke, or am I making that up?
I don't know.
I feel like they did, but I could be wrong. I'm almost surprised you're not anti-Semitic, Elias. A chat member
That's
once
something
wrote.
you say to someone that's definitely not. It's like, Steve, I'm almost surprised you don't say the N-word, and you're like, well, prepare to be
It's
shocked.
not that I hate black people. I just wish they didn't live here. You know, I love them. That's why I want them to have their own country.
It's like crazy. Yeah. Oh man.
It usually goes hand in hand with the whole Stalin did nothing wrong mantra, alluding to Rodriguez's support for old school communism. One of the biggest things that Stalin, didn't do wrong was ending the most anti-Semitic regime ever yet known to man, Rodriguez responded. Wow.
Wait, was Israel around with Stalin?
No. What? What do you...
Oh, sorry. Anti-Semitic. What was the anti-Semitic? Oh, so he wanted to kill Germany then. Wait. Who was he trying to get rid of here?
What?
Who? Okay. Sorry. I'm having a senior moment.
Okay.
One of the biggest things that Stalin didn't do wrong was... Okay, so he's saying that it was good that he got rid of Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Although...
This is like confusing.
No, yeah, sure. But just for the people that are listening, and I understand nobody understands the nuances of all these crazy people online, this is not a pro-Israel or pro-Jew talking point. This is just an anti-American, anti-Western, pro-Russian talking point. It is very important to tankies and everything that Russia's story is that they contributed...
Single-handedly took down the
Or at the very
Nazis.
least, they did the vast majority of the work because they were willing to have all their people die because they sucked at more, right? But that's the... When people always want to give them credit for taking down the Nazis, it's a big part of the Russian myth or whatever.
All right, keep reading.
Because Stalin was literally on his way to enacting his own Jewish mass execution program.
What do you mean? They gave us the Jewish Autonomous Oblast in the middle of nowhere.
True. Way out in the east. One of those places that you didn't know people lived.
Yeah, there's like 10 Jews out there right now. All right, keep reading.
The chat logs reveal a man who hated the Republican and Democratic parties. Oh, okay. So far, tracks
like
as a Hasan
Hasan,
viewer,
yeah.
yeah. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the right and left, and the bourgeoisie. The United States, the West, and of course, Israel. He even hated the only political group I could find he'd associated with. PSL sucks, Rodriguez wrote in one of many. I haven't read the rest because I'm reading actively. I bet he's going to say they suck because they're not radical enough. Okay, sorry, let's check. In one of the many messages lambasting the obscure Party for Socialism and Liberation that he had once participated in. I wish I had just done a misadventure with FRSO, Freedom Road Socialist Org, rather than PSL, LOL. He wrote, still, when it came to race, Rodriguez's hatred seemed reserved for white people. Oh, and this tracks, remember, with what I said before, when all these people take credit for hating Nazis and, hating anti-Semitism, they don't actually care about anti-Semitism. It was only ever white supremacy. It just happens to be that Nazis used to be white supremacists. That's why they hated them. It had nothing to do with the anti-Semitism, so yes. LOL, you probably would have to actually genocide white people to make this a normal country, Rodriguez wrote in one post. Like, even a very targeted and selective rehabilitation program would probably have to lead to the lifetime imprisonments of tens of millions of white people. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Rodriguez threw around terms like dictatorship of the bourgeois. Is it bourgeois or bourgeoisie?
Who gives a f? This is
your mom.
Terms.
Disgraced aristocrats. And ranted about his own disadvantages in life.
This is literally an incel in Hasan's chat.
It's also annoying because, scroll up, this kid was upper middle class. Look at how nice this guy looks. Find the first picture.
No, I know. I saw it.
Yeah, but show the chat again. That is an upper middle class guy. Nice skin, perfect facial hair.
Look at that. Two shirts?
Yeah.
Some people don't even have
This guy
one.
is absolute. Look at the glasses. Absolute. Look at those eyebrows. I think he went to
extra.
Yes. Those are like shaped or whatever.
Look at this. Manicure. Whole thing. Yep.
Well, that guy is upper middle class, 1,000,000,000%. That's great. Okay. His hatred of Israel was evident in posts he made the day of Hamas' attack on October 7th, 2020, including, quote, just saw an incredibly gory video of the aftermath of Israeli troops trying to get dressed for the ambush, absolutely massacred by Hamas fighters. LeMayo.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the Hasan stuff.
Well, we were already in there. We're even more in there. Love checking back in with the news every few hours like, I wonder if Israel still exists. Asked if he loved it, Rodriguez replied, you don't often get to credibly wonder if Israel is over yet today or not. The picture that emerges from these chats is one of a quick-witted, voracious reader, and even ladies' man, who is generally well-liked by his friends. But underneath all of this was a bitter streak that could veer into casual cruelty. For example, Rodriguez attacked another member of the chat who he saw as privileged for lamenting about the challenges of having a brother with schizophrenia. Rodriguez said in posts, "Why not just have him committed? You can't possibly be getting anything from a relationship with a person like that. Just put him in a padded room and forget about him. If there was a person you loved, he's gone now, let it go. Can't you just chain him in the basement and slide meals under the door? I'm just tired of hearing about this guy. He's useless, we get it. Stop complaining and just dispose of him." Damn. Now, to be fair, if this
that's
guy's
like a DGG chatter now.
Yeah,
hold up.
but if he's complaining about a schizophrenic, brother, I mean, what are you going to do?
But, I mean, this is like, hold on, this guy, got to check the chat logs of DGG, messages like that.
When I published Rodriguez's manifesto, is that the one? Did we read that? That was just like a page long, right?
Yeah, Hasan read that one on stream, and I was like, as he read it, I was like, you know that like people get banned for doing this, and Hasan was like, I want to get banned. It's Sunday. I got to take tomorrow off.
Nice that he intentionally, knowingly breaks the rules. Funny enough, rules that were written, I think, for me or Dylan.
Yeah.
Because you can't even cover it disfavorably.
Yeah.
But apparently that doesn't matter. Yeah. I stressed how important it is to make these materials public so there wouldn't be any information vacuum, conspiracy theories, or fail. Particularly, they have, with many, calling the attack a false flag orchestrated by the government to further suppress criticism of Israel. The term false flag even spiked to its highest number of Google searches this year. It's driving me crazy that people are calling it a false flag. A woman who knew Rodriguez said, "This development is shocking, but not completely out of character," she remarked, echoing a sentiment expressed by others. They were at first shocked, but not ultimately surprised that Rodriguez did what he did. Okay, this guy was not mentally ill at all in the slightest. He was totally coherent and cognizant of everything going on. This was intentional. He always had strong political convictions, the woman said. From the sound of the manifesto, he's the same as he was, but not anti-Semitic, by the way. In all of his rage, though, Rodriguez had an almost wide-eyed optimism about the global South, which, as a self-identified Maoist third worldist, he believed alone had revolutionary potential. Now remember, revolutionary or global South is a term like BIPOC. That's a synthetic term that doesn't actually mean anything, because global South doesn't actually include any wealthy Asian people, and it doesn't include Australia or New Zealand. Global South just means the brown and black people in South America and Africa, in case you guys didn't know that. And then he was a big proponent of the emerging resistance axis of Russia, Iran, Hezbollah, Assad, Syria, our friend recalled. He seemed pretty vocally in favor of Hamas for years, way before 2023. He's always hated Israel and would call it the little Satan.
This guy is anti-Semitic. I don't care.
Well,
when the IDF released video of the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, 100% him, sadly. Authorities allege that Rodriguez, during his arrest, expressed admiration for Aaron Bushnell. Just now saw the unblurred video and lost it, Rodriguez told the group chat. Why couldn't he have just killed himself? That would have been way better.
Oh, yeah.
Just do that next time.
You could, if somebody had effort, and I don't have any effort because I don't do prepared content, but you could literally just do a dry reading of this, and then side by side it with a Hasan stream. And Hasan has said basically every single thing that this guy has said in here. Yeah. He was sad I remember him being very sad when Nasrallah was killed. I'm sure he was when the 3 big Hamas dudes got killed as well, but hilarious, he remarked on what? Hilarious, he remarked after someone linked to a news article reporting that Trump had considered Blagojevich for the position. Was ambassador to Serbia. Oh.
The next day, he would shoot to death 2 people. Yeah.
You can't even say their names. 26-year-old Sarah Milgram and 30-year-old Yaron Lichinsky.
Yeah.
Lichinsky.
Wild, man. Not good.
Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry, just real quick. I'm sorry, because this writer is triggering the fuck out of me.
Ken Klippenstein?
Yeah, or not really, but hold on. This is just so.
Yep.
And I don't want to.
No, do it because he deserves it.
You okay? And the Jews, okay? But you would never say this about any other racial group. What is most striking about Rodriguez's posts and the observations of his friends is the absence of any anti-Semitic remarks.
I'm just imagining a group chat that gets leaked.
You're like, I love it when guy that assassinated Martin Luther King, and I loved it when
imagine celebrating Yes,
some mass
Derek Chauvin
killing
might get pardoned. Oh God, thank God. He wasn't racist.
Yeah, he didn't say a single racist comment ever.
He never said the hard R ever. Like, what the? So this is Ken Klippenstein. So you can put this mentally in your mind that he set this narrative for you. So now he can go and occupy that space because this is his framing.
Well, to be fair, I think he's trying to make a point, maybe.
Of?
That this guy didn't make any... I'm not mad about Klippenstein, sorry. That the guy didn't make any overtly anti-Semitic remarks, but he still is basically engaged in something indistinguishable from anti-Semitism, right? But how can that happen without facing the reality that hatred of Israel and what it is doing in Gaza is not the same as anti-Semitism? Indeed. Oh, wait. How can that happen? Wait. Indeed, grisly murders such as these must end. I hope we can all agree on that, but how can that happen without facing the reality that hatred of Israel and what it is doing in Gaza is not the same as anti-Semitism? Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Indeed, grisly murders such as these must end.
This is what the writer is saying.
I know, yeah. But how can that happen without facing the reality that hatred of Israel and what it is doing in Gaza is not the same as anti-Semitism? So is the... Like, because I agree with the author, kind of. That's a statement that really depends on who says it. Because you can be highly critical of Israel, and you can even be anti-Zionist without necessarily being anti-Semitic. But it's basically like when somebody says, I think that white people should be able to say the N-word and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I agree with that statement, but I think like 95% of the people that say it are probably kind of racist. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would be true.
And I feel like it's the same with that statement. So, like, you can hate Israel and be anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic. And
but you got to be an advanced level guy.
Like, I would agree with you, but if you said that, you're probably mega anti-Semitic.
Yes, that is exactly it. It is possible, but you are not possible of making that connection. That's an advanced level of racism that you're not at the level of doing. So,
like, where did this guy did a shooting outside of
a Jewish museum?
What was the museum? It says Jewish museum, but what was the museum specifically?
Well, if it's a Jewish museum.
Well, but was it like the Zionist Center for Jewish Celebrations or something? Or was it like the...
I'm sure it was like, us Jews are always celebrating, not dying. So I'm guessing it's a Holocaust museum.
Museum shooting outside of the Lillian and Albert Small Capital Jewish Museum.
What's inside the museum?
Lillian and Albert Small Capital Jewish Museum. Explores the Jewish experience in the National Capital Region and inspires... What do you mean not good?
The Jewish experience.
Yeah.
Over the millennia?
Oh, yeah. But it's saying also in the Capital Region, so it makes it sound like this has nothing to do with Israel. Like, I think this is for DC, right?
Oh. All right, well.
Equity? Oh, ew. Oh.
What?
This is a super... I'm sorry. This is a super wokey Jewish place, too. Because I just said equality, but it wasn't equality. Listen, I love all of you, but when somebody says the word equity, that's like a red flag in my mind.
I think the woman...
Because they said equity and justice commitments. This is right on their site. The legacy of racial injustice in this country towards Black, Indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC, has made clear that organizations like ours need to be deliberate about our efforts towards diversity, inclusivity, and ultimately equity. They got DEI, we've got BIPOC, we've got equity. As a history museum and public-facing educational institution, we at the Capital Jewish Museum commit to doing our part to build an inclusive, multiracial democracy, teach difficult histories, and work to foster an I was going to say that too. The other one you have to look out for is anti-racist, an anti-racist society. So this is like they got all the woke terms in one paragraph.
Didn't matter.
Damn. You're on some ultra anti-Semitic shit there. Because there's nothing here that you could even, this is like the most, unless the Mossad literally came in and rewrote the website.
The woman worked for some thing that was supposed to be like empowering Palestinians. That was the woman.
Yeah, sure. But my guess is he probably just waited outside and just shot the first few people that came out. But I'm saying, like, I still would have considered it anti-Semitic if it was like some kind of Israel museum or like
if you're killing people coming out of a Jewish museum, it's anti-Semitic.
Yeah, sure. But I'm saying, like, this was like an explicitly like wokey progressive Jew museum. Like, it doesn't seem even remotely attached to Israel or Zionism or anything that you can make that argument for.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be a Holocaust museum.
Nope.
Rip. All right. Well.
Talk about our favorite flags.
Oh, like overall, what my favorite flag?
Yeah.
Hezbollah. Look it up.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding. It's actually a dope flag.
I don't know flags.
It's this is a.
You know what? I'm gonna be brave. My favorite flag
It's funny because he says it, and he's gay, and Hezbollah would like have him killed immediately.
This was after both attacks, right?
Yeah.
This actually, can somebody link me real quick? I'm so sorry. I only read the title of this article, and I assumed so much about what was written in it, and I'm probably right, and it's already influenced me. But can somebody link me the article about how the title had something to do in like the first paragraph, something with the fact that like when you look at who you can't make fun of, or when you look at the people that like are hand-wringing over jokes, it's purely and only a demonstration of who has the power in that particular situation, is what this article was about. Because it's absolutely true. I'm assuming that's what the article's about. But whoever had a link that, I just want to read that on my own time. Like this, like, could you imagine making jokes like this after? Like, imagine like there are 2 terrorist attacks against black people, and someone's like, "What's your favorite flag?" And you're like, "Or what's your favorite like cosplay outfit?" And you're like, "I'm gonna be honest, okay?
I'm gonna dress up as Kyle Rittenhouse."
Or no, it wouldn't. That's not even close.
I'm gonna dress up as Derek Chauvin.
No, not closer. It would be. I think the Grand Wizard outfit is actually kind of bucking ballin'. Because you're not talking about an individual
actor. The KKK flag's kind of based.
Exactly. This is Hezbollah.
Yeah, terrorist organization.
Who literally exists in South Lebanon to destroy Israel, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not... Yeah, you're like on... That's like some... You're on some wacky and wild...
I've been collecting Hasan and...
Oh, it would be like having the thin blue line flag right after George Floyd died.
Yeah,
That's what it would be like, yeah.
I'm collecting, like, we're putting together this beautiful package that anytime anyone wants to know about Hasan, they can. And I think that's going to be an important thing to have out there in the world. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
This
got an AK on it and a hand holding it up.
Wow.
Son.
Or
we might have to cut this.
We're behind the paywall. It's fine.
Like, it's so pointlessly edgy, too. And, like, there are cooler flags.
Well, there's definitely cooler flags.
And it's just... He's, like, so edgy. It's like...
Well, he's inspiring more Elias Rodriguez's and other people like that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just so cringe. I hate safe edgy.
I can't believe that Twitch lets it continue to go on.
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Here's the thing. I make this habit whenever I see Twitch post, if I'm not busy, I'll comment under Twitch's post and I'll just put one of Hasan's random things that he's done underneath the brand, just reply. They'll be like, "Hey guys, it's a cool day. Make sure to touch grass." And I'll be like, "Should I be able to touch grass like, Hasan calls people inbred or whatever?" And I'll post a video. But I miss like 10, 90% of them I miss. Mm-hmm. But when I check on sometimes I'll go and I'll look, and I haven't commented on it yet. And I must know that Twitch is feeling this, because when they post anything, there's like 20 comments being like, "When are you going to stop allowing terrorism on your site?" Like, every post they do has like this. And it's like their social media manager must have PTSD that anytime they post something that like crazy shit's gonna happen. The sponsor does something, I got a ratio of them saying this brand supports terrorism. Like, I'll keep doing that shit. I don't know how Clancy's surviving. Must have dirt on Steve Boom. That's all I'm gonna say right now.
Or it's ideological capture. The people don't give a fuck about it. And Amazon just doesn't pay that much attention to it, I guess.
Yeah. Crazy shit. Create bots that spam every post. AE Studio. You don't need to. There's people that do it willingly.
And think of how cringe it is that you're doing this. Like Hasan already kind of... Do you remember when Nick was on some show that got broadcast on Israeli national TV?
Nick?
Nick Pollum, when he was sitting there watching the...
Oh, yeah.
the dancing video and the terrorist videos?
Yeah.
He was running that program.
Yeah. That was good times. It's God. Like, oh, that's not too good.
He was like, "What am I watching, dude?"
So Hasan got banned for 24 hours. When you get banned, so everyone knows in the future, when you get banned, all of your VODs get marked as private. You have to manually re-enable them afterwards. What else do we got here? This is hilarious, seeing that you can tune into a Hasan stream any time of the day and just see him making up news on the spot. Oh, this should be good.
And culture all the way down. But in that process, I think a lot of people get duped. Something that I've talked about quite frequently was with like Sex Pestiny, right? Not only is it just, not only is he
I'm sorry. Why am I laughing? Sorry.
It's just so goofy at this point.
Moral person, perhaps possibly engaging in criminal acts, right?
Uh-huh.
But also, he's wrong all the time.
You are known for being wrong.
And I know that he has created this environment where he claims that I'm wrong all the time. But like, if you're getting your information from a guy like that, or if you're getting your information from a guy like Hutch, you are just going to be constantly led astray. And at a certain
Hutch, famous. That guy does fake news all day. You know who else is worse than Hutch though? I'm really important. That guy, he is like so far on the right. He's probably the most Republican guy I know, if I would have to guess.
Yeah.
Like in fake news 24/7, also that guy.
True.
Just like, it's like, I'm sorry, can I have a little bit of real news inside of all your here?
At a certain point, you got to go, why is my expectations designed around what this person is telling me not matching up with the reality in front of me?
How can he say that with no? Well, I know why. It's all this all the performance.
Why is it that these guys were telling me Joe Biden shouldn't drop out, and everyone is actually a radical asshole for claiming Joe Biden should drop out, all the way until Joe Biden literally dropped out? Why is it that if I follow these guys, I'm always playing catch up? I'm always wrong.
Like it's funny because even internally that logic doesn't hold up. Because first of all, my position was always that
just stand culture.
My position was always that it was that would be a tough call, and I maintain that position even after, right?
Well, you give up home field advantage a lot, and also people hate women.
I would just say it's a tough call, and black people.
Women hate women.
I would say it's a tough call, period. But I said I would support whatever they do, and I did. However, wouldn't that technically mean that I was correct? If my statement was you shouldn't drop Joe Biden because if you pick somebody new, then we're going to lose the election. I mean, I'm just saying Joe Biden has never lost an election to Donald Trump, and they dropped Joe Biden, and then they lost the election. So like, how am I technically? Wouldn't I technically be correct there if that was my position? Now my position was like, if they switch him out, I'd support it. It's a tough one either way.
Do you think that? Here's the thing: our next candidate? What are the odds that we get a 50-something-year-old white man? Can the Democrats do that? Can they win an election? Can they run a white man who is between 50 and 60 years old?
I have no idea. No one knows what the next election season will look like.
Because I kind of feel like we might run a disabled.
It's possible that like a trans disabled black person could win because like the Republican Party no longer exists at this point in time. You've got a whole bunch of Trump supporters, and that's why like in these midterms.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we're gonna do a white guy.
Yeah.
Gay though.
Sure.
Sorry.
Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
But I'm saying who knows? It could be that like 20% of the party like just doesn't even bother voting next presidential election. It's like, oh, Trump's gone. I don't care anymore. Like in these special elections and all this these guys do not show up to vote. They have these huge losses that are not helped by anything. The Wisconsin Supreme Court loss, even the special elections they have won were like by 20, 30 point narrower margins than when Trump was there. So who knows? But who knows? We'll see.
Do you think Trump will try to run again?
I want to say no, but if he doesn't, if he was 10 years younger, he absolutely would.
Yeah, but what is he going to... So who will run in his place? One of his kids?
I don't know. That's why I'm saying, like, no, it's a cult. And you can't just replace a cult leader. Like, nobody else...
You sure you can't?
Well, they have to...
Who's the cultiest of the culters?
Well, don't they all usually kill themselves or...
You know what happens when Trump gives it up?
What?
Don't they tear themselves apart trying to find out who's going to be the next one?
Yeah, they splinter or whatever, maybe.
Right? Because there's going to be an internal power grab to see who's going to be the chosen one. Trump will anoint someone, but the other people are going to rebel against that because, like, no, this guy doesn't get to be the next Trump. I want to. Oh my God, maybe they'll tear themselves apart.
I mean, it's there's no clear leadership structure, and Trump has no interest in building any kind of party apparatus, obviously. So who the is going to replace him? Who knows?
Okay, so what else do we got here? XUC leaks that Twitch will sometimes let their biggest streamers know and work out a time for their band to work around their schedule. When you're about to get banned, they send you a DM and also calls out Hasan's chat for their actions during the reading of the manifesto.
Yeah, this has always been true, basically.
Hey, speaking of which, did you know that there's like almost another hour of this podcast that you're not going to see on this YouTube video? If you want to get the full thing, you have to be a Patreon subscriber, which you can do at patreon.com/anything else. You also have very cool things that you get in there, like being able to be on the live show viewer call-ins, suggesting the topics, and like behind the scenes footage. There's some really good stuff there. So yeah, check it out.
Some more Patreon exclusive footage. And here is my neighbor's cat, ready to get into a fight to the death.
Oh no.
With Lycan's dog. He's a big pussy though. He's just smelling.
You chill.